Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of News Dose, where I keep you up to date with all of the latest gaming news. And Naughty Dog, the first-party PlayStation studio, is having major problems. Over the weekend, The Last of Us Part 2 leaked online, though no worries, I will not be talking about any kind of spoilers, but do be warned when you're out on forums and social media. Nonetheless, this leak goes far beyond just The Last of Us though, and it's not a good look for Sony and Naughty Dog, and I'll explain all that here in just a moment. We also got a little bit more information on the Initiative's upcoming game over the weekend. The Initiative, of course, is an Xbox first-party studio built from the ground up with all-star talent, but we may have gotten another clue as to what this game could possibly be. We do have some other stuff to talk about as well though, so let's get some of the quick news out of the way. First up, we have a few new games that are starting to have some reviews flow in. Gears Tactics, which releases tomorrow on PC, and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, is getting some good reception with an 81 overall score on Metacritic. Last time I checked, this was based off of 65 reviews, so the score isn't really going to change too much from this point forward, and this is good news. 81 is a nice, solid score and shows that Gears can do well outside of its mainline franchise. Gears Tactics, of course, takes heavy inspiration from games like XCOM, and it seems like it's a really good game. Me being a big Gears fan myself, I'm pretty excited about this one, and especially if you have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, this might be worth checking out tomorrow. Also, Sakura Wars, the old Sega JRPG, is coming to the PlayStation 4 tomorrow as an exclusive title and currently has a 73 overall score on Metacritic. Probably not what you're wanting to see there, but it's not terrible either. It seems like an overall okay game, but you know, when I look at this game from a production value standpoint, it looks really good. I'll probably still try this one out eventually, but we have two games to look forward to for tomorrow. In other news, we haven't really heard much about Deadly Premonition 2 for the Nintendo Switch in quite some while. Fans are probably wondering what exactly is happening with that game, and Sori65, the creator behind Deadly Premonition, revealed on Twitter that there will be news for Deadly Premonition 2 next week. As to what that could be, I have no idea. It could be a release date, maybe a trailer or teaser, but if you're excited for that game, you have something to look forward to. For that matter, he also revealed that he is working on a new, unannounced mobile game, and with a mind like Sori65, it's hard to tell what he's cooking up. And speaking of game announcements, Google Stadia is set to announce some new games for this week. This will be through a Google Stadia Connect event that will be going up tomorrow on the 28th at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 12 p.m. Eastern. As to what they could be announcing, if I were to guess, I would imagine these will be third-party and independent games. That's not a bad thing either, so don't take it that way, but you'll probably see some ports of games that are already out, and maybe Google strikes some kind of deal with a third-party publisher, and hey, they could theoretically get an exclusive title that way. And that's the thing, we are probably not going to see any kind of Google Stadia first-party game for a long time. We know they have that studio with Jade Raymond, but that was just recently formed, and then they acquired Typhoon Studios, the developer behind Journey to the Savage Planet. But that game just released a few months ago. So yeah, they're probably quite a ways away from releasing a first-party game unless they acquired another studio that we don't know about. Maybe. It's possible. Regardless though, it seems like Google is trying with Stadia. They have seen more people try Stadia out since it became a free service, and we just talked about how they reached 1 million downloads last week. So let's see what they have to announce for tomorrow. And since we're on the topic of first-party studios, let's talk about the Xbox first-party studio, The Initiative. I actually think The Initiative may be Xbox's most exciting studio right now because not only are they built from the ground up with no IP to their name, and they could end up making anything that they want to, but they have an extremely talented team. I swear every week I'm hearing about how they hired some super talented developer. In fact, last week they hired an animation artist that has worked on games like Uncharted. And I shouldn't have to tell you, but Uncharted has some of the best animations in the entire industry, so that's a really big get. We aren't talking about the initiative because of that though, but rather, they have accidentally revealed a few teases as to what their upcoming game is through a LinkedIn post. So check this out. Whatever this game could be, it apparently is using Unreal Engine 4, which is no big surprise. A lot of games use that engine, and Xbox in specific seems to really like the Unreal Engine, and why not? It looks great, and developers know it well. But also, and this is what is interesting because whatever this game is, has designed and scripted various weapons, gadgets, and a camera surveillance system for an unannounced project. And that's the thing. The number one game that people are speculating on that the initiative may be working on is Perfect Dark. This is for multiple reasons which we'll get into, but this LinkedIn post sure does sound an awful lot like Perfect Dark. As we talked about in the past, Phil Spencer did hint that the initiative is challenging themselves to do new things and old things in new ways. Based off what Phil Spencer said, it does sound like it's going to be a reboot of something, but what could it be? Well, Daryl Gallagher is the head of the studio, and based off of his previous work, Perfect Dark is a perfect fit. If you look at Daryl Gallagher's history, he has worked on the reboot for Tomb Raider, which was phenomenal, so you already know he has experience with rebooting franchises to a success, and he also worked on Hitman. Now, Daryl Gallagher could do something similar with Perfect Dark and reboot that to his vision and make it into like a third-person Perfect Dark game, and we do know they're working on some kind of single-player game, so that does make sense as well. There was even a rumor from trusted news sources a couple years ago that Xbox was working on a new Perfect Dark game, though at the time it was believed to be developed by the Coalition and that they were teaming up with some third-party studio. Well, maybe it was never actually a third-party studio, but rather the initiative. I mean, it's certainly possible, and I do think that Perfect Dark would translate perfectly. I think that they could put together really good gameplay for Perfect Dark with both stealth mechanics as well as its shooting mechanics, and maybe even some light platforming and puzzles like the Tomb Raider franchise. They could also do some cinematic stuff and make a really good story out of it. I think Perfect Dark has a ton of potential. I was a big fan of the original game, but this is more of a reboot if this ends up being a real thing, so while technically it is an existing franchise, it would really be like a new franchise at the same time. The initiative would probably have a lot of creative freedom in how they want to make Perfect Dark, so this would probably be a lot different than the original. Either way though, I'm really excited to see if the initiative truly is working on Perfect Dark. I hope they are personally, but you know, there is no guarantee just yet. This is mostly speculation based off what we do know currently. And for that matter, we also know that they are planning to show whatever it is very soon. They could even end up revealing this next month, so let's hope and see what happens. Moving on though, let's talk about PlayStation because yes, The Last of Us Part 2 did leak online. Again, no spoilers, and do be warned not to post spoilers in the comments below. Not only will I remove those comments, but I may ban you from ever posting in my chat again, so do be warned. Now with that said, this leak is legitimate and videos went online and everything. This has to be devastating for Naughty Dog, and I feel really bad for them. They worked hard on this and it should not have happened. Sony has been trying to take them down, but it's done too late by this point. Unfortunately, spoilers are out there. This has had a few implications though, and I think this is the bigger story here. First, PlayStation has now once again changed the release date for The Last of Us Part 2, which was clearly because of this leak. It's now going to be released on June 19th. Also, Ghost of Tsushima will be coming on July 17th, so only a month apart. So for you PlayStation fans out there, you have a lot to look forward to over the next couple months. With that said though, how did a leak as big as this even happen in the first place? We cover a lot of leaks on this channel, but usually this stuff comes from some kind of insider and it's all text-based, or just little snippets of what to expect from upcoming games. This leak though was so much different. I mean, you're talking about videos popping up online from a game that was months away. So what happened? Well, it apparently was leaked online by a disgruntled Naughty Dog employee over a payment dispute. So yeah, I'm not sure this leak was very smart by this disgruntled employee, because now it's very possible nobody will ever hire that person again because that person cannot be trusted. With that said though, Naughty Dog has been having major issues for quite a while now. This looks really bad on PlayStation's part. Naughty Dog is the poster child of PlayStation Studios, the best of the best, and over the last year, almost everything that I've heard about Naughty Dog has been really bad. I'm not talking about the quality of The Last of Us, no, I'm not talking about that at all. Clearly, Naughty Dog makes amazing games, but their work culture may have some real issues. So let's just go over the chain of events over the last 12 months. We have seen developers left and right from Naughty Dog go to other studios. The reason why, I have no idea, but it could be the work environment. That's because it's also been revealed that they have intensive workloads through a crunch culture, something nobody is going to want to do. Then you had multiple delays on The Last of Us Part 2. I think it's been delayed either 2 or 3 times by this point. I mean, that's not all though, because then they announced The Last of Us Part 2 would not have multiplayer, and while that is not necessarily involved with the work environment, I'm sure the employees have heard the criticism from fans over this subject. So I'm sure there is a lot of pressure on Naughty Dog employees, and then to top it off, you have sexual misconduct allegations and this payment dispute for whatever it is. So again, Naughty Dog is incredibly talented, and they make great games. I'm not talking about that though. There seems to be a real problem within Naughty Dog and how they treat their employees, because there is a lot of smoke surrounding Naughty Dog, and where there's smoke, there's fire. And this is PlayStation first-party studios. Some of this has to fall back on PlayStation, and they need to step in and try to fix whatever issues Naughty Dog are having. I mean, I get it. We all want great games, but we also need to treat developers right as well. Now, with that said, we don't know the exact story with this payment dispute, so it may not be entirely Naughty Dog's fault, but there is just a lot of smoke here. So again, I'm not sure what's happening there, but it's just not a good look. Now, to be clear though, I'm not excusing this employee who leaked it. He absolutely should not have, because he didn't just hurt Naughty Dog's management, but also his co-workers, and he probably will never get hired again, and that's really sad, honestly. Either way though, what do you think about all this? Let me know in the comments below, and do be careful with spoilers, please everybody. Don't post them here, and don't post them outside of here. Just be respectful towards everybody. But let me know in the comments below on what you think about this topic. Anyways though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Peace out.